Hello everybody and welcome back to Imperator, where we are currently working on getting enough political influence to go back to war. We're probably going to sit at 0 aggressive expansion for a little bit, but I definitely do want to go back to war fairly soon. And of course, in the meantime, we can always be working on our city buildings. So, oh right, always have to move this. There we go. Doki Mion, huh? That is not how that is spelled. Wonderful. So we would come up over this direction. 3 building slots are available here. So a tavern and 2 forums. Looks good. No longer importing livestock. That's fine. No actual colonizable provinces. Okay. Next up would be Alwa. So that is down over this way. Tutor needed. Good to know. I really don't care. We're going to put in 3 Freeman districts there, and that seems fine. Gangra would be next. Okay, so this is going to be 2 forums. Sure. No problem there. Next up, 4 building slots. That's interesting. This must have previously been disloyal. Yes, it just recently became loyal. Perfect. So we're going to put in 2 taverns and then 2 forums. Looks excellent. Okay, next up would be, wow, another 3 building slot location. We're getting a lot of those. So this was also just recently loyal, or rather disloyal. So this is fine. We'll do something along the lines of that. And we just finished expanding trade in Judea. So that is, of course, phenomenal. We're going to get that done. That gives us 2 building slots in Judea. And then we can embellish Jerusalem, which seems absolutely fine. 2 nobles would appear there, and we would gain 15% local tax, 2 additional city building slots, and 10% local civilization level. Okay, so we also need the fort level to be greater than 1, and that will get us 15 political influence. Okay, let's get Embellish Jerusalem started. Oh wow, that's giving us 20 political influence. Beautiful. That is really, really good. So now we need to go into Jerusalem. We didn't actually get the 2 building slots. That's interesting. Well, maybe we will from embellishing Jerusalem. Or maybe this is it here. So we've got social stratification here. We could clean up the slums. That's a lot of money for pop promotion speed. Money for local tax. I guess we'll clean up the slums. Sure, that seems fine. So at this point, maybe we need to tick it forward. Okay, so this is all fully refreshed here. We're still at 31 out of 31. Okay. Ah, there we go. That wasn't even a month tick. This is the 30th of October. Okay, we'll give it a month tick here. Now we got the 2 building slots. So I'm going to put in a single fortress here. And this, of course, is for Fortify Jerusalem. So that's fine. We can do Joseph's Tomb at Shechem, which is something we can just do immediately. And then we would need to renovate the Shechem shrines, which we cannot do because we're currently working on embellishing Jerusalem. However, we do have enough now to be able to make a claim on Armenia. So I would like to fabricate a claim out over here, and this is going to be on, like, Mysia Superioris, although that's low population. Media is out over here. That's the highest population province. I'm going to do that for now. And then we're going to start moving these guys up. I'd like to put these somewhere up over here. This would take attrition. This would take attrition. This would not. So go sit here for now, and then you are going to come out over this direction. That would not be attrition? Okay, go for it. Beautiful. So that looks good. This guy just died, and that means that our navy requires a new commander. This guy will be absolutely fine. Cool. Okay, so next up would be Menezos. Sure. So right up over here, we would need 2 building slots. Easy enough. There we go. And then we would need So that is down over here. Cool. So we put in a Freeman district and a tax office. Excellent. So, yeah, we're no longer importing a bunch of horses. I don't care. That's fine. Melatine is the next location. So that is up over here, and we would put in 2 Freeman districts, and that would be it for now. Then we've got Rada. So that seems fine. We'd come down here. Yep. And keep in mind, we still need 100 political influence to turn Jerusalem into a metropolis. And that's going to be a while. No doubt about that. That is going to take some time. So next up is Yathil, which is, right up over here. Cool. So here we would definitely want to put in a pair of tax offices. That seems fine for now. Then Tabanesi, which is over in Africa, of course. And that is not how you spell it. So that's out over here. Yep. And 2 building slots here. Oh, that's a weird setup. Okay, so we put in a tavern and a mill. Cool. Next would be Gebtu. So that would go right out over here. Wonderful. Cool. And then Kohida. So that is down over this way. Wonderful. Actually, I kind of want to put this into a tavern instead. There we go. Something like that. That should be good. So next up would be Yeha. Right down over here. Like literally right next to it. Cool. So this is a research city of all things. Okay, so a couple of libraries would be absolutely fine. Axum. I mean, we know where Axum is, that's for sure. So that is right out over here. And we would go for 2 tax offices. Gotta love that elephant production for the war elephants that we don't use. Should we switch our camels to war elephants, though? I don't know. That'd be interesting. We'd have to really check in on what that would look like. So camels, of course, are actually very good as like counter cavalry units. War elephants, on the other hand, they're very good shock units. So it kind of depends on whether we're expecting to run into lots of cavalry or not. Well, for now, I think we'll leave it be, and we should head over to Ukra, which is right over here, same general vicinity. And we would put in a forum and some Freeman districts. Cool. Next up would be Adi Galamo, which is literally right next to it. Okay, seems good. And that would be some Freeman districts. We do have a civic perk available, and we could boost our holdings income. Not that we really care too much about our holdings income, but that is fine. Next would be Lemira, which is up over here. Beautiful. So this is a research city, and we would put in a pair of academies. This is not a very developed research city. It's got 2 population. So that's not necessarily ideal. Artalis would be next. So that is right out over this way. Also set up as a slave city, and we would put in 2 forums. Wonderful. So next up would be, how do I spell this? A-U-A? Okay. Sure. Right down over here. This is a research city. We'd put in a pair of libraries. Now, I want to check in on where our armies are. Okay. I want them back to drilling, but in these areas. We're just waiting at this point on our claim to finish up, which is 40% done. I want to check in quick on how Jerusalem is doing, so we can see that fortress is going to be done soon enough. We will get rid of that fortress as soon as we've completed this mission. But I want to get this done. That'll get us 15 political influence anyway. So that is a pretty good chunk of what we're going to need to upgrade Jerusalem to a metropolis. So that sounds great. We can only choose one of these down here. Okay. So Jerusalem is going to be embellished very shortly. Okay. So next up is Dioscorides, which is down over here on Socotra. Okay. So that is going to be 2 tax offices. And we now need a title assignment. So we have a scorned family, and it's going to be this guy. Cool. So next up is a wash. So that is right out over here. Cool. Easy enough. And there's the coming of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is now a city of stone. Excellent. So that is going to complete that mission. So that's perfect. And then we're going to want to grab Fortify Jerusalem, but we also need to renovate the Shechem shrines. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have minus 100% population output for 12 months of Jerusalem. That's significant, but we're going to do it regardless. Let them marvel. Okay, so Fortify Jerusalem is going to be a little bit before that's done. Yeah, that's gonna take some time. So that's fine. Next up is, of course, Jerusalem directly. And what do we want to build here? Well, I mean, it's a research city. We do have potentially aqueducts that we could build here. I'm going to put in one aqueduct for now. That will boost our pop cap. Actually, it's not boosting our pop cap at all, is it? No, it's under other results. There's the results, population capacity plus 32.5 to 32.5. But there's the flat population capacity. It's plus 12, but it's only giving us plus 8 and then an additional plus 4. I'm not entirely sure what's happening there, but okay. So I'm going to put 2 of these in as aqueducts and then 1 in as a library. Okay, that seems fine for now. Next up is Akik. So that seems fine. That is down over here. Wonderful. So we would put in a forum and a Freeman district. Influx of artisans, huh? We've got a couple of Hebrew citizens appearing in Shechem. Sounds good. And next up would be Soleb. Okay. So this is a research city. Our granaries have been raided. We'll pay to replace the stockpile. We have so much money. I don't care about that. That's absolutely fine. Next up is Kuru. And that is right down over here. So we would obviously put in a pair of tax offices here. That seems fine. So Erascum would be next, which I believe is right close by here again, isn't it? Ish. Not that close. We put in a pair of academies. Seems good. And then we've got Venicelos, which is up over here in the Nile Delta. So that is fine. We're going to put in a pair of tax offices there. We do have some starving pops out over here. Okay, so that is understood. We should probably cancel one of these food imports, probably the dates. It's the most amount of gold, but that's okay. I would rather have enough food to go around than 0.16 gold. So hopefully that'll change, and we'll keep an eye on that going through this month. We had a martial advance, and this is still negative, but it's not as negative. I guess next we should probably cancel this one, the fish. So we'll do that, and we'll bring in more grain. And we'll just keep an eye on that. But we do need to grab our next invention, which, of course, is intended to be town criers here, boosting our monthly political influence by 10%. So that's going to be a decent amount, for sure. So there we go. We'll get more political influence that way. And then our next goal would be Chironomia into Patrocinium. So that's going to be a significant boost for us. And we'll have those pretty soon, actually. So that sounds great. On this next month tick, I would love to see this go positive. I'm not sure it will. Yeah, 10.46. So we're probably going to need to also cancel the vegetables and bring in more grain, or potentially rice. What is rice's bonus? 7 versus grains 6. So rice is actually kind of the way to go here. That still may keep us negative. We'll see. So we also have some issues out here in Evia and Phrygia Repensis. Both of these are probably going to get turned around just based on economic conditions. This is probably to do with the soldiers here for now. So that seems reasonably fine. Next up, we've got Dan. Myrrh trees, huh? Do we want Ambi to produce myrrh? Where is this? This is down over here. It currently produces horses. You know what? It's fine. We'll have it produce myrrh. That seems good. And then we could build a slave estate here, in theory. Why not? Seems fine. We can call down Esther again, getting that unintegrated culture group happiness and 5 pops converting. I like it. And then no colonizable provinces, but we definitely do want to go over to Dan. This is a lot of Dans here. I mean, we know where Dan is. Dan is up over here, so that is fine. Shrine renovations are attracting trade, but yeah, you can see Dan is right there. So that is perfect. So we are, of course, going to be building a pair of tax offices here. That sounds fine. My Lhasa would be next, and where is that? Out over here. Yeah, Anatolia. Makes sense. So that is fine. Let's put in a pair of forums, but that is Fortify Jerusalem ready to be completed. So we're going to get that done right now. That'll be 15 political influence, and that's going to be absolutely wonderful. So there's that 15 political influence. Now I want to get rid of that fort, and we're going to put in possibly another aqueduct. We're limited to 20 of those in any given territory. So that is definitely noted. Okay, so we're at 82% completion on our Armenian claim. We're not quite there yet. We're actually making good time on this, so I'm pretty happy with our timing overall here. So we've got Kahlua, which would be next, and that is off over here. 2 building slots. Okay, we can put in a pair of forums. Looks good. Okay, so we've got a lot of these left, and I mean, we're actually almost through the 2 building slots. Wow, okay. I hadn't scrolled down for a while. We are very, very close to being through the 2 building slot locations and down to just having 1 building slot. That's kind of nuts. Okay. So next up would be Amara, which is out over this direction. I mean, we're just doing this when we don't have other things to do, right? So when we're waiting on other things, it's kind of insane. So we're going to put in a pair of tax offices here. That will be absolutely fine. Next up, what do we need? In Jebel Moya. Sure. So that's right next to it here. And we would definitely look to put in a pair of tax offices there. So Talguharai would be the next location, up over here. Wonderful. We're very, very close at this point to getting our claim on Armenia, so that looks good. We're about, what, 1 month away? 2. We're 2 months away. Next up would be Bagara. Right down over here. Okay, this is an awkward setup. I'm going to put in a pair of taverns here. That'll get us more standard, so that looks good. Next up would be Oriza. Cool. So that would be a forum and a Freeman district. Then we've got Thou. Okay. Our renovations are at an end. We will get to that in a moment here. I want to deal with Thou first, and that's right down over here. So we would put in a tavern and then a Freeman district. Okay, so our renovations of the shrine in the city of Shechem are rapidly coming to a close. So we're going to have to consider the repairs and embellishment of the city and its temple compound complete. The question of how it will be maintained in the future still stands. Okay, so that's fine. So we will have to consider this. And then we need to choose. Are we going to grant religious endowments? We would need Shechem to have a great temple building and make 4 religious endowments in Samaria. That's a lot. An autonomous enclave. That would make Shechem into an independent country, a feudatory of us with a unique heritage. Or a great donation, 800 gold. The religious establishment will further reward us. 5 citizens will appear, 2 nobles will appear, and they get a sacred temple complex. That definitely seems like the way to go. Definitely. So we're going to do the great donation there. There we go. Excellent. And we could gain legitimacy here. Actually, our legitimacy is not phenomenal. We'll take the legitimacy. That seems fine. And then all we really need to do here is Jerusalem, the metropolis. We could skip this, but I'm not going to. So that seems fine for now. Okay, so on the next month tick, we are going to have our war ready to go. So that sounds great. We've got Katarif down over here, and I would certainly like to build a pair of tax offices there. But we can definitely leave our building be for the moment until we get additional land. We have our CB now, and I want to move these guys up over to here. And these guys, they're going to move over to here. Now, there is this Armenian territory here, and there's a little bit of Armenian territory here that we could potentially take. But there's not a lot. I mean, we could take some Armenian territory up this way. I don't really care about that. So the question is, do we want to hire mercs to take this? There is an Armenian army literally right here, 15k. So we could certainly hire some mercs to deal with that. I'm just looking at sizes here, 24,500. I feel like we'd want to hire, like, these guys down here, right? They're going to be expensive, but why would we care about that? We can put them onto unit reorg, ticket 1 day, and then move them up over here. So we don't have to declare this immediately. We can get these mercs in position. We probably should have done this earlier, but, I mean, we still have some time on our aggressive expansion, so this is fine. We'll give them a couple of months to build up their morale. So they're going to need, like, 5 months in total. That seems fine. I'm really not too concerned about that. So, I mean, they're moving pretty quickly, even though they're in unit reorg, because that is, of course, reducing their movement speed by 33%, but they're traveling along our road network, so it's going to move pretty quickly. There's a couple locations here that are not actually road connected, like this, but overall, they're going to move around pretty quickly. So that seems wonderful. They're at 44% right now. I'm probably going to let them have 1 more month tick here before we take them off of unit reorg. They're now at 2/3, and we're going to have them move faster from here. So they're now moving 33% faster at this point. So let's move them into position, and they should get here fairly soon. By the time they get there, they'll likely be at pretty close to full morale. Certainly high enough to defeat this 15k stack. So that looks good. We are in position to attack multiple Armenian territories at this point. Ah, Gera's revolt is over, apparently. And prosperity. Cool. I'm probably going to take the stability. We don't really need gold. So we're going to hit 0 aggressive expansion before we actually take this territory. That was expected, to be honest. There's also a decision that we can take. Ooh, that's 25 political influence. In addition to other very good things. Where is this? Where are you? Oh, down here. Okay. Yeah, enact that. Beautiful. So that puts us at 89 political influence at this point. 5 spices being produced there. That's a lot. Okay, I love it. So we're in position here at this point, and the question is there anything stopping us from declaring this war? And the answer to that is an obvious and resounding no. There's absolutely nothing preventing us from doing this. They're currently at war with Bithynia Superioris, which is potentially problematic for us. That's these guys out over here. But it shouldn't be a problem. So we're just going to declare this war. There we go. And we're going to order these guys, just come on in here. That's all they need to do here, and this entire area should fall. We're going to immediately walk in and fight their army here with our mercs, 5.85 to their 4.41, and we outnumber them almost 3-1. This should be a very easy battle for us, and then we're going to come up and siege up here, while this army comes in and starts taking over all of this territory. This should be a very quick and easy war, in theory. However, it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to fight Armenia, and we will see what we're able to get out of them, and how much aggressive expansion it builds up. We may end up fighting Macedon again fairly soon after this. We'll see. We will see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Hiro Marutsu, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.